On this, can we move on to the next problem? Okay, so let's look at problem 3. And we are told that there is a rectangular wall. The area is 48 square feet. And the width is x, and the length is 8 feet more than the width. We know that the area of rectangular figure is length times width. We identify that the width is x and the length is x plus 8. And now we have to plug it in. So x times x plus 8 equals 48. Yes? Instead of x plus? Yeah. Okay, so if I say to you that I have in my pocket $8 more than what you have in your pocket. Or I say I have in my pocket 8 times more than what you have in your pocket. What will be the difference? I have $8 more than what you have, or I have 8 times what you have. Exactly. So let's read the question one more time. They say its length is 8 feet longer than the width. Is that clear? We see the difference? Yes? Is that better? Times more. 8 times more than the width. It's a very good question, actually. Thank you for asking that. Okay, so is it clear why it's x plus? Good. What type of equation is it? How do we solve it? Very good, quadratic. How do we solve it? Very good. X squared plus 8x minus 48 equals 0. We have 4 methods. Which one is the easiest to apply here? Yes, I agree. Do you think we need to review quadratic formula, taking square roots? Probably we did that already. No, we didn't. Completing the square. Yeah, I think there is one in here, isn't it? No?
Not in this one, but on mine.
Yeah, okay, let's find one. Okay, so which one are we going to apply here? You already told me. You said factoring. Good. So how do we factor this?
Or I said that I didn't know you put x minus 4, x plus 12.
Very good. I agree. So then we have 2 solutions: 4 feet for the width and negative 12 feet for the width. Of course. Of course. So if the width is 4 feet, the x plus 8 will be 12 feet. Good. So let's look at it. Complete the square. Just give me any equation. Yes, I'm ready.
X squared plus 6x plus 30 equals 0.
Very good. And then also let's look at a difference quotient after this. Good. The middle coefficient.
So do you have to make 3 first, or does it not?
You can. Let's move. Yeah, if that bothers you, let's do it first.
6.
This is really just noise. This doesn't mean anything. Good. The middle coefficient is 6.
Divided by 2 is 3.
Good.
Square is 9.
Excellent.
Add to both.
Exactly. X squared plus 6x plus 9 equals 9 minus 3. But now I have to remember what this is, because if I don't, I get stuck. And I won't be able to finish. So what is it? That's why we did this on the first day of classes.
X plus 3 squared.
Yes, of course. Thank you. Excellent. Well done. Now what?
Square root or square root of 7.
Exactly. How many solutions we have to get?
2.
Excellent. So the left-hand side is?
X plus 3 equals square root of 6. Or plus or minus the square root of 6.
And x equals -3 plus or minus the square root of 6. Very good. Good problem. Next question.
The difference.
Yes, let's come up with a quadratic function, please. Can anyone come up with any quadratic function you want? So we can determine the difference quotient. Any questions on the previous problem, by the way? Stop me if you have questions, please. Okay? Any quadratic function? Anyone?
X squared plus 6x plus 2.
Excellent. The difference quotient will be given to you. You do not have to memorize it. So it's f of x plus h minus f of x divided by h. If you remember, we have these pieces. They're done. We can't do anything about those. But there is one that we have to work on before we put all pieces together. Excellent. So we have to determine this one. Thank you, Krista. So, can anyone dictate?
Parentheses x plus h squared
Good.
plus 6 parentheses x plus h likewise.
Great job. Now remember, I need this. First day of classes, our agreement. Please don't forget that.
X squared plus 2xh.
Awesome. Plus h squared plus 6x plus 6h and minus 2. Great job. Now I have all three pieces and I can put them together. But let's analyze what has to happen here. So we know that if it doesn't happen, then something is wrong. We have to go back to the drawing board. So what has to happen here? All terms without h must go away, because the ones that are remaining, then we'll have to pull out an h and eliminate the h from the denominator. Great job. Okay, good. So let's copy this instead of this. This is all this. So x squared plus 2xh plus h squared plus 6x plus 6h and minus 2. Be very careful now because we have to distribute -1 to all terms in f of x. So minus x squared minus 6x and plus 2. Remember, if those terms don't go away, something is wrong. So negative x squared with positive x squared, negative 6x with positive 6x, positive 2 with negative 2. Of course, other terms may go away. That's a bonus. But for sure, all terms without h must go away. Otherwise, we can't continue. And they do. So we have 3 terms left in the problem. All of them must have h in common, because that h from the top that we factor out from those remaining terms must eliminate the h in the denominator. That's always the case. So what do you think we have in parentheses? Indeed, plus h plus, that's it. And that's the final answer. And let me refresh your memory what this means. It only gives the slope or the rate of change of a function between 2 points that are very close to each other. The rate of change. Very good. Anything else that you would like to go back to? Maybe there is a type of problem that you would like to practice more. Maybe there is anything else. Yes, please.
Can we do an example of substitution?
Yes. You want me to choose from here? Or okay, the substitution one is number 6. Very good point. Yes. Number 6. Good point. Thank you. Okay, so we have x to the 4th minus 29x squared plus 100 equals 0. So the question here is, first of all, what type of equation is it? And the answer is, it's quadratic in form, however, it's also polynomial. Very important because I need the degree. What is its degree? Which means how many solutions I have to come up with. Good. These preliminary observations are very important because then I will probably, hopefully, not forget the plus or minus, right? That's the idea. Okay, so now I notice that it's quadratic in form because if I denote this by, give me a letter, but x. T? Okay. Only if this can be replaced by t squared, then the method works, which means it's quadratic in form. If it's not quadratic in form, I cannot use substitution. So if I square this, do I get this? Yes. So then indeed the equation becomes t squared minus 29t plus 100 equals 0. No one is forcing you to factor. It's not difficult to factor this particular one. But when the numbers get large, forget about factoring if it takes more than 20 seconds, 30 seconds. Use the quadratic formula. So, but this one is okay. 25, yes. T minus 4, t minus 25, and we get 2 t's. But then again, remember, who cares about t? No one. We do. Because now we created 2 new equations that they're much easier to solve. So one of them, one t is 4 and the other one is 25. But t equals 4 means, and t equals 25 means something else. Exactly, thank you. And x squared equals 25. And I know that from here I take square roots, and I know I will get how many? Right, plus or minus 2, and plus or minus 5, exactly as expected.
We have a problem that is a fraction, has a fractional exponent.
Yes, please. Yes. So let's do number 8, and is there a fractional exponent here?
I don't think I'm missing.
Okay, so they are you're saying number 8? Yeah. Okay, so let me just open the book where I'm going to choose the fractional exponents. I think it's in section 1.6, if I'm not mistaken. Let me look. 6 or 1.5, one or the other. Yes, it's in 1.6, other types of equations. And let me just copy this. Yes, let's say 49. I don't think we did 49. So it's 49 on page 185, and that is x to 2/3 minus x to 1/3 and minus 6 equals 0. And then problem 8, what was problem 8? Yes, the absolute value of 7x minus 7 over 7 greater than or equal to 9. Good. So let's start with this one. It's an equation with rational exponents. It is also quadratic in form as long as I can show this. I cannot just put it in there and say, oh, it's true, let's move on. It's only if it works, right? When I square this, do I get that? Yes, because x to 1/3, everything squared, I multiply the exponents. 1/3 times 2/1 is indeed 2/3. So this is okay. So the equation is t squared minus t minus 6 equals 0. And now I should not have any difficulties in factoring this.
So is that letting
T is x to 1/3. So t equals the cube root of x.
okay.
So I have, yes?
So if the denominator in the fraction or the exponent was 4, it'd be
1/4, the fourth root of x, yes. So we have t equals 3 and t equals -2. So then I have two options. The cube root of x to be 3 and the cube root of x to be -2. How do I solve the first one? It's the same way I solve the second one. What do we do? Exactly. So then x equals 27 and x equals -8. Yes, I should go back and check because I cubed both sides, but remember when I cube or fifth, they work. Questions on this before we go back to the absolute value inequality?
if on those you do go back and say 27 works but -8 doesn't, does that mean that
They have to work because we cubed.
I think
They have to work when we cube, both of them. Yes.
Can you explain how to know, how would I know when we cube? Like, I missed the part.
Because the power is 1/3. Only power 3 will take care of it. If the power were 1/2, I would have squared. If the power were 1/5, I would have taken both sides to the fifth power.
Okay.
Other questions before we go back to the absolute value?
but if you're doing a rational equation, they cannot equal, like for number 1, they cannot equal -2 or 3. And I plug it back in.
Right, but here you will write x not equal -2 and not equal 3. And if at the very end you get any of the two, you will not go back and plug them in because you will state the restrictions from the very beginning. I don't care what they say here.
Then the solution set is not.
Exactly. It's this, the empty set. Yeah. That's why we don't have to go back and plug in because we state restrictions from the very beginning. Yes, any questions? Any questions? Yes, please.
Number 8.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing next. It's right here. I copied it.
Oh,
Yes. Yes. Other questions before we go back to 8? Okay, so then we have 7x minus 7 divided by 7 greater than or equal to 9. You know me, I'm all about simple and simplified and factor. So I'm not going to work with this because I realize that I can factor out 7. You cannot factor it out from the absolute value. That's not allowed. There are certain rules with the absolute value, but I can do this. That's more than enough. So I basically have the absolute value of x minus 1 greater than or equal to 9. So now this is completely cleaned up and waiting to change it into whatever. What do I change it into?
Give it absolute values.
How?
So you do the opposite value of your.
So x minus 1.
it's greater than or equal to negative.
That's right. You keep it simple. You flip the sign.
X minus 1 is less than 3 plus your -1.
Very good. Remember the outside. You cannot include anything between -9 and 9. This is the outside. More distance. Further away. So then this one will be x greater than or equal to 10, and this one will be less than or equal to -8. The answer has to see the union symbol. What do I write?
Parentheses, negative infinity, comma,
Yes?
x,
Negative infinity, comma.
-8, right?
Good. Perfect.
But I can't, 9 out of 10, yeah, sure.
Very good. Great job. Very good. Anything else?
That's cool.
Next question, please. Say it again. Yes, of course. Number 5. Let's do number 5. The square root of 2x plus 7 equals x minus 4. What type of equation is it? Of course. Yes, so what now? Is it completely cleaned up? Is the radical alone on one side, isolated? Yes, the radical is alone on one side, everything else is on the other, correct. So what do we do next? Of course. I caution you, we have an agreement on the right-hand side from the first day of classes. Left-hand side is?
2x plus 7,
And the right-hand side is?
x minus 8 plus 16.
8x plus 16, very good. So then this is x squared minus 10x and plus 9 equals 0.
Yep.
We are subtracting 2x, we are subtracting 7. And if you want to factor. If you want to use the quadratic formula. No one will indicate at this particular moment what to do.
X minus 1, x minus 9.
Very good. X minus 1, x minus 9. So then it appears that we have two options here. X equals 1 and x equals 9. Who knows? We don't. Yes, back in, but remember in the original problem. And this is the original problem. The square root of 2x plus 7 equals x minus 4. So in here I'm going to plug in 9. 2 times 9 is 18, plus 7 is 25. The square root of 25 is 5, and 9 minus 4 is 5. I will definitely have to say yes to 9. Now I'm going to check 1. I know it doesn't work because 1 minus 4 is a negative number, which is negative 3, and the absolute value is always positive. So 2 plus 7 is 9, the square root of 9 is 3, and that's not allowed. That's not possible. So the only solution is x equals 9.
So what makes that different from
Yes?
number 1?
From number 1.
Or
Number 1 is a rational equation. And this one is a radical equation. In number 1, I do not perform any shady operations. Squaring both sides is not legitimate. That's the only option, but it's not entirely legitimate because you can create solutions that don't work in the original problem. Or whatever I do here, I will never perform an operation that jeopardizes or gets a solution that I have to check other than against the restrictions.
so for rational, you get 2 options, but if even one of them doesn't work, then
I may give one option, or 2, but here I'm only checking against restrictions. I don't have to go back and check in the original problem. Here, the problem is that this procedure of squaring both sides sometimes, not in all problems, comes up with something like this. That is correct here, it's correct here, it's correct here, it's correct here, but not in the original problem. Yes, Krista? You want to do 4?
Yeah.
Yes. So 4 is x cubed plus 3x squared equals 49x plus 147. Please do not resume and say to this and say, oh, if it's not here, I'm not going to get it on the test. Please. Please redo all problems we did in class. When I write the test, I will look at what we did in class and what you had on my math lab. Nothing else. Okay, so now I'm asking myself again the same question over and over. What type of equation is it? And it's a polynomial equation. Very good, poly. So x cubed plus 3x squared minus 49x minus 147 equals 0. It's my only choice. It's in descending order. Greatest common factor, no. Negative leading coefficient, no. Then what is my only option? Factoring by grouping. What will you factor out from the first 2? What is left in parentheses? You must write x plus 3 again and the equal symbol and 0 before you look. And the answer here is indeed. And then I will factor out x plus 3. And then x squared minus 49. And then x plus 3, x plus 7, x minus 7. And my apologies, I should have asked you from the beginning, polynomial, what degree? And how many solutions? Okay, perfect. And here they are. Can anyone give us those 3 solutions? -3, -7, and indeed 7. Any